Good afternoon. If we could all take a second and pause our phones or silence our phones, that'd be great. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dan Shea. I'm with Shea Electric Communications, and I am a stockholder at 3175 Atlaside LLC, Industrial Park. I would like to, I'm going to read this because I just want to make sure I get everything right. I'm glad you're joining us today. The meeting is to discuss the proposed changes to the restricted covenants related to the 4 Oshkosh industrial parks: the South Industrial Park, the Southwest Industrial Park, the North Industrial Park, and the Northwest Industrial Park. The Industrial Development Committee has met over the last couple of years to discuss the needed and possible changes and clarifications to these documents. The redistricted covenants were adopted decades ago as covenant owners of the Oshkosh Industrial Park desired a higher development standard for industrial parks, given that some of the Oshkosh's largest and most prominent companies are located there, along with the desire to make sure they're used as an industrial in nature. We would like to try to get the tenants together more often to discuss the business and networking opportunities. This might be a few months because of the pandemic, but we believe that there's an absolute benefit to getting the businesses talking together and maybe doing business together. With that said, we are also going to put it on our docket so that it doesn't go by another 20 years. We'll make sure that we're looking at these every 2 to 3 years to make sure that we're up to speed. I would like to take this time to introduce 2 other people that will be participating in the presentation. First will be Jason White, who is the President and CEO of the Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation, or as we refer to it as OEDC. The second will be Mark Lyons. He's a Planning Service Manager for the City of Oshkosh. Mark is here to answer any clarifying questions related to city code. This agenda we'll be talking about the introduction of the Greater Oshkosh EDC, who we are and what our role is in the community, an explanation of the action items 1, which largely include the cleanup of our language in those covenants, and the explanation of action item 2, which is an amendment to the removal of a property from the Southwest Industrial Park, given that it's needed change of use. And at this time, I'm going to bring Jason up to kick off and go through everything. Thank you. I'll be back.
Thank you, Dan, and good afternoon, everybody. Greater Oshkosh EDC was established in 2015 and exists to preserve the health of existing companies, foster a positive entrepreneurial environment, connect companies to workforce and talent development resources, and enhance the business climate while promoting the quality of life in the Greater Oshkosh area. Greater Oshkosh has 4 full-time staff members and a governing board of 27 members representing private, public, and nonprofit organizations throughout the community. Greater Oshkosh EDC manages several business finance programs on behalf of the city and county. Regarding COVID-19, we have 2 programs that have made nearly 50 loans worth $500,000 to small businesses to assist them during this pandemic. These are available in $10,000 increments. The revolving loan fund has been a good tool for small and medium-sized businesses in Winnebago County. Greater Oshkosh EDC has 12 existing loans out to businesses that are repaying at present. The RLF serves as gap financing and has a $250,000 lending limit. The Capital Catalyst program has new businesses, or targeted new businesses in high growth industries. The program has been helpful at retaining UW Oshkosh student entrepreneurs after graduation, allowing them to start businesses in our communities. A brief timeline of the organization's existence and certain milestones along the way are presented on the slide for your information. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that right now, but it just kind of gives you a little history of different things that have happened over the last 5 years. And then we also have a slide that has some past acts of efforts that we have undertaken and executed and the metrics associated with those, retaining investment in our community for helping our existing businesses first. We believe is even more important and is paramount to everything that we do, even above attracting new investment from outside our community. A lot has been said about 2020. I think a lot of us would like to get past 2020. But sometimes we like to pause and identify. There's been some great projects that have happened in our community over the last year. Some who have been finished, and some which have finished early in the part of this year, or at the end of last year, and are underway this year. Certainly the redevelopment of ADHD Plaza. We were very involved in the Extreme Customs effort, for example, and it was just a very good turning point for an important gateway in Oshkosh. Also underway is the Oshkosh Food Co-op, and I know that they've got a lot of women behind them to bring a new grocery store and food options to our downtown area. So just wanted to pause again because of all the things you can say about 2020, we're very proud that we're continuing to be strong business investment in our community and our region. So, and also I just want to highlight for the audience here too, because some of you are utilizing this program, and it's one program that Tricia and our team is very instrumental in spearheading over the last number of months. And I know the chair of this committee, Dan Chase, and I and Tricia have been talking different ways on how we can get more companies involved in helping get people to work. And we understand that transportation is a barrier for workers and many entry-level workers in our county. So the Winnebago Catch a Ride program is designed for a volunteer driver to pick up the individual who can't like to get to work, can't get to work, either through because they don't own a vehicle or they're not along a transit route. So we've been successful so far, working with other partners, providing a lot of rides. I think we're averaging a couple hundred rides a month right now. So the program continues to build, but one of the reasons we put this on the slide here is that one of the ways to make it sustainable is through recruiting more volunteer drivers. And as you might imagine, like many things during this pandemic, our volunteer rider fleet took a hit. And so we are back in the process of recruiting individuals again, providing them with masks, helping them provide safe rides to people to get to work. So we need more volunteer drivers. So we've been picking up our marketing efforts in the last couple of months through some grant resources that we've been able to achieve. So back into the covenants. So the current version of the covenants was adopted in 1991. Was administered by Chamco at the time, which Chamco, of course, no longer exists as an entity. When we were formed in 2015, we inherited them. We were a reluctant partner, to be candid, at the time to do that. I think I've been in this business for 15, 20 years now, and this is the first time that I both have the role of creating growth and at the same time enforcing rules on top of it. So, but the more we looked into it, the more we believe that we could bring a pro-development face to the development process, while at the same time maintaining the development integrity of our parks that everyone prioritizes and views as very important for our community. But the covenants still say Chamco, and one of the changes that we're going to ask for your approval on is to change that over to Greater Oshkosh. The city also updated their zoning code, and a number of the provisions in the covenants are now covered under city code. So that makes much of the covenant provisions, as it's currently construed, moot. And so we are proposing to remove those duplications. So briefly, just to summarize a few other points, we are removing references in our covenants to the Oshkosh Aviation Industrial Park, as it's the same as the South Industrial Park. And that has recently become particularly confusing as we also have an aviation business park that has its own covenants outside of what we're discussing today. We also have some clarifying language for the definition of a pole building, and our covenants have never really been well defined what a pole building is, so we've also included that for your consideration. And as a separate vote, separate from those covenant changes, we are asking for approval to remove the property north of the Silver Star Brands Distribution Center from the Southwest Industrial Park, and we'll talk more about that. Going on to the next slide, we're looking to defer to the Oshkosh zoning ordinance for the following. And I think they're listed on your screen. I have the slide open, so I'm going to turn to that. We're going to defer to the zoning ordinance on landscaping, on-site utilities, building setback requirements, lot size minimum, maximum lot coverage, off-street parking regulations, off-street loading, and outdoor storage and display. And the reason is, again, there's a lot of similarities now between covenants and the new zoning rules, and it just removes duplication for you when you're working through the process. You don't have to work with us and the city to get those sections approved. You can go right to the city. And also, again, as I mentioned below there about changing the name from Champo to Greater Oshkosh EDC. And again, action item 1 involves formalizing the name change to the South Industrial Park. We are also removing a section from the covenants that deals with a few properties that are on the periphery of the park that could be considered for non-industrial uses. And these are largely undeveloped parcels near the Universal Business Park. And after these changes, what largely remains in the covenants are areas speaking to land use, building materials, and signage. While these sections are not up for review or vote at this time, we do consider, as tenant owners, to encourage you to review those sections of the covenants. Again, the covenants currently refer to pole buildings. I mentioned that prior by definition, so we believe that will be helpful. And we also added that definition for your approval. And so the second vote that is separate from those changes that I mentioned before is remove a parcel from the Southwest Industrial Park, which also requires a separate positive vote from the tenants for that change to occur. Silver Star Brands has sold this, I believe, 18-acre site to a developer who would like to change the use for a multifamily. Given the proximity to a school, adjacency to a residential area, and the fact that it has been vacant industrial land for some time, the committee had agreed and voted to this change, recommended this change. And so at this point, I would like to, actually I'm going to pick up the next point as well. So let's talk a little bit about the voting process. First off, I want to thank everyone for signing up to attend today. Following this meeting, you will be sent an email to vote on these changes. 2 separate votes, as I mentioned. Second, we'll be looking to complete the vote in approximately 1 week. So please vote early if you can. Happy to answer any questions during that week if you have any. We need 50% plus 1 of the land ownership in order for those changes to occur. You will be asked to provide your name and which property you represent so that we can internally weigh your vote by the percentage of property owned. So just a little bit there about the voting process, and if you have any questions, happy to address those at the end as well. I'm going to turn it back to our committee chair, Dana Shea, for some additional comments.
You want to ask, is there questions at this time?
Yes, At this point, let's open it up for questions. I do want to thank the team of Greater Oshkosh for their assistance and putting this. And if there are any questions at this time, I'm happy to address them. Either myself or Mr. Shea or Mr. Lyons of Favorite City related. Something online?
If you've joined us online, you can just unmute yourself to ask the question. We'll be able to hear it, or feel free to text it in the comments box as well.
Hi, this is Carvin Blank. I'm with Musa Sheet Metal Company. We recently just purchased down here. We do also have 2 properties up in the North Industrial Park. I kind of just got brought into this, making it aware last week. I do have concerns with the multifamily going in the industrial park. Coming from the North Industrial Park, there is a lot of multifamily housing and properties up there. And we have had a lot of issues with break-ins, waking up with, things gone, people in our cars. And it just seemed to be like a high transportation area where people are walking from one point their housing to, let's say, Quick Trip or to the grocery store. And they seem to be walking right through the industrial park to get there. So that's definitely a concern for me, as we're kind of right in between where that multifamily would go and where Quick Trip is and the outlet malls are. So I guess I'm just kind of wondering if any consideration has been given to that.
Well, with respect to security, that would probably be a city issue, because the transitions to that point, it goes to the city planning process. So may I defer to Chairman.
Yeah, we haven't even got into site planning or the multitude of city processes that would be required for that apartment complex to go there. They would need a comp plan amendment, zone change, plan development approval. Before the city would even consider undertaking those, they needed to figure out the covenant and industrial park situation first. If the owners of the industrial park don't feel comfortable with it and would not want that property removed from the industrial park, we won't even get into the site planning processes for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Carmen, Dan Shea.
Hi, Dan.
So we've been kicking this. This has been talked about for the last, at least at the industrial development committee level, but probably the last 6 months. The land is sat vacant, and the reason that the committee came to the understanding that it could be a good use for the multifamily is because directly across the street, across the whole line of 20th, that whole other side of the street is already residential, and if being heavy industrial, there could be a lot of noise, it could be and it could create its own issue for the residents across the street. So, and I won't speak for everybody in the community, but in my opinion, we felt that, and I say we, I'll speak for myself, I felt that it would be a good buffer. So you're going from an R1 installation, and then you're going to go to an whether it be an R4, I'm not sure what's it going to be zoned R4. So into an R4 multifamily, and then it's going to go into the Silver Star brands, commercial application before it gets into that. But technically, somebody could put we can't put a car crusher there because of the covenants, but they could put something there that is heavy industrial, very noisy, etc. And it's been sitting vacant forever and a day, and we were trying to assist another person in the community with trying to create a tax base. That was part of the thought process as well. Workforce development. Again, if you look, that was another big point Jason mentioned, and I agree, is that directly down the road you have the YMCA, directly down the road you have a school, directly down the opposite road you've got a Target and a pick and save. So again, this wasn't a slam bam move. That's something that we've been talking about for some time. And And again, that's why we came to that conclusion. That's just our opinion. That's my opinion. I won't speak for other people. Mr. Ford?
So Steve Ford, and we have 28 acres.
Hold on, I'm going to walk this over so that everybody can hear you.
I'm Steve Ford, we have 28 acres in the industrial park. I will concur with what the gentleman from Musa said. The reason we moved Oshkosh is we were in the industrial park in Neenah, and they put an apartment complex next to it. It was a nightmare. People coming on our property, people trespassing, people complaining about the noise we made, all those types of things. It was an absolute nightmare. That's why we moved. So I will tell you, when I agreed to buy this property in Oshkosh, part of the understanding was back then is that we would not deal with apartments, and we would not deal with that. This was zoned industrial park, and it would stay that way. So I will tell you, I'm not very happy with this. I think it's a mistake. Yeah, between 25 and 45 semis a day going out of our canvas, 28 acres. Having to watch for little kids is difficult enough when they're across the street. You don't need it surrounding us. That is the whole purpose of moving where we did. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like that?
Hello, my name is Steve Moorhead, and I'm one of the partners in the group that's trying to develop this property. One thing I can just say, and I understand your points, but on our side, this is considered a high-end development. With we're keeping it right now at 2 bedrooms, so that to reduce families. It's more for the entrepreneur, the empty nester, high-end finishes. We're looking at rents that are approaching $1,500 a month. So while I understand your point, what you're saying, this is going to be more on a lower scale as far as children and things of that nature.
I guess I understand what you're saying. The problem is why would somebody who's on the higher end want to live next to the
Well, if
What's the
you
value of that?
well, the value is the community it's close to. It's the YMCA, you're close to town. Silver Brands really I don't consider as a real high industrial property. I mean, I don't see a lot of trucks going in and out of that location. Could be a little bit different down the road, but
Right across the street.
yeah.
Are there any more questions from anybody in the audience or from the people online?
I don't have any in the chat.
Okay, so we get back up to the podium with the notes. I'm going to reiterate, we will not be, again, the email will go out with all the information to vote. Please consider everything that was said here today. Again, Jason's around, as well as staff, to answer any of your questions. I would respectfully ask that everybody think on this, and please do be an active participant, and just don't slam or home. Ask good questions. I can say that I do. I believe I do. I want to reiterate to you that we would like to get everybody in the industrial parks talking. It's been one of the major things that I've been trying to orchestrate over the last over a year, and it just hasn't happened. And we're going to, as soon as we get through this COVID, we're going to push hard to try and either get the arena or get something where we can get people talking, get some juices flowing, and get people trying to do business with other people. And you know, you don't know what you don't know. So it would be great to know who the people and players are in Oshkosh, because I don't know everybody in the North Industrial Park, et cetera, et cetera. And those might be customers, or those might be people that are partners that I get buy from. Just make sure I covered everything. You already opened it up questions? Well, again, I appreciate everybody's time today. I have nothing else, and I'll ask one more time, is there anything else that anybody would like to say while everybody's present? Anything online? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna drop off. But again, I would reiterate that Jason and GoEDC staff are here for your to assist you with any questions. And again, if there is a question, I'll commit to, if there is a written question, that I'll commit to everybody getting that question and the answer will go to everybody that signed up for this meeting, so that there's complete transparency. Very good. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope you have a great day. Be safe.